So recently we got the gameplay reveal for the new Red Dead game. I say recently, it was relatively recently, it was in the last week or so, and the game looks fucking amazing. Red Dead Redemption was one of my favourite games of all time, and I still believe that it is criminally underrated. It just seems to be overshadowed by GTA every time in terms of popularity, even though it's easily Rockstar's best game.
You do so love to talk in riddles, Mr. Marston. Do you do that, I wonder, as a substitute for having anything interesting to say?
Probably, Miss McFarlane.
Oh, call me Bonnie, you fool. Call me Bonnie.
Miss McFarlane.
And now the time has come around again, we're finally getting a sequel to the beloved Red Dead Redemption 8 years later, and damn does it seem like it was worth the wait. With stunning current gen graphics, a huge interactive and detailed open world, new characters, an interesting story, and the classic Rockstar charm. Red Dead Redemption 2 is shaping up to be Rockstar's best game yet, and I couldn't be happier. Let's take a minute to just look at how fucking immersive this game looks. If you thought Red Dead Redemption was immersive, which it was, then you're going to be blown away by all the features that add to your immersion in Red Dead Redemption 2. Just the whole atmosphere of the game screams polished, and you can tell that Rockstar have crafted this game as their true current generation title. Not GTA 5 remastered, because that was a glorified port with upscale resolution, and for some reason a first person mode, even though the first person mode was fun as fuck, I can't lie. Yeah, I take that back, it's not even that fun to be honest. Red Dead Redemption 2 is the game Rockstar was saving for an Xbox One and PS4 release, because it's actually their only proper game to release on current gen consoles, and oh boy, has it paid off. I know it's a little bit strange getting excited over mud on someone's back when they fall over, or the detail of horses in a game, because it's not something you're going to be taking any notice of when you're playing, but I think it perfectly highlights the amount of care and time that has been put into crafting this game, and Rockstar deserve at least some recognition for adding in such details, especially in an open world game. Most of the time when creating an open world, developers overlook such small details because it would be way too much effort to implement them, given the scale of the game they're trying to create, and that most players won't even notice these small additions in an otherwise indifferent open world experience. But it seems Rockstar took on the monumental task of creating an in-depth open world with lots to do, and implemented these small details to further immerse the player, and that shows the dedication of Rockstar. I for one really appreciate the small things in games, like in Assassin's Creed Origins when Bayek runs his hands along the tips of blades of grass, or Lara Croft dries her ponytail when stepping out of the water. These small details may seem like nothing in the grand scheme of things, but they really do add up, especially in an open world game, simply because of the fact that they're usually overlooked in this genre. I'd expect to see these small additions in a linear game like Uncharted, but seeing them in an open world game really does show a company's care for their game. Now, I don't want to keep going on about how much I appreciate the fact that the saddlebags on a horse actually open, or that Arthur Morgan's clothes crease when he's running, but I feel like it goes a long way when it comes to immersion, and I wanted to acknowledge Rockstar's hard work. The game has most likely been in development since just after the original Red Dead Redemption release back in 2010, which means it's been in development for around 8 years, which is a mammoth amount of time when it comes to video game development. Rockstar are one of those companies that put years and years of work into each installment of their franchises. It takes them so long to develop a game, but by the end, the finished product is a game that will be mass consumed by pretty much the whole world. I mean, look at GTA 5. They were developing that game for 5 years before it released. That's half a decade working on one game, and it paid off. GTA 5 is one of the most profitable video games ever released, and it's still being bought by thousands of people. Add 3 more years to the development time of GTA 5, and we have the long, hard 8 years of work that the devs at Rockstar have put into Red Dead Redemption 2. 3 years is a lot of time when it comes to video game development. To put it into perspective, Assassin's Creed Odyssey has been in development since Assassin's Creed Syndicate came out. That's almost 3 years, and Odyssey is at the point where it's being shown off at conferences like E3. Development is currently being wrapped up so the game can be shipped. 3 years is the amount of time that most AAA games take to create. So the 8 years that Rockstar has put into Red Dead Redemption 2 has most likely been 8 years of hard work and graft, with a masterpiece of a game at its end. Now, I'm not saying that Red Dead Redemption 2 will beat GTA 5 in terms of commercial success, because GTA is just way more marketable than Red Dead. The majority of people would rather play a game set in the modern day with flashy cars, automatic guns, and eccentric over-the-top characters. A game that's more like a blockbuster action film, opposed to a relatively serious game set in the Wild West with the Rockstar flair added to it. One of the sole reasons why GTA is a household name game is because it's so marketable to everyone. Even kids are playing GTA. In fact, younger audiences make up most of the GTA fanbase at the moment due to the popularity of GTA Online and the influx of child-friendly GTA YouTube content over the last 5 years. So no, Red Dead Redemption 2 has no chance of beating GTA 5 in terms of commercial success, even given the extra 3 years in development, but they can sure as shit turn a nice profit with this game. I mean, look at all Red Dead Redemption 2's trailers. They have a total combined view count of 72 million views. That's a lot of people, but it would be ignorant of me to assume that every single person that viewed each of these trailers is going to buy the game. We also need to account for the fact that the video could have been viewed multiple times by the same person, and the fact that the same person could have watched all 3 trailers, so not every single one of the 72 million views is from an individual person. It's easier to use the amount of copies GTA 5 sold in the first week to determine how many Red Dead Redemption 2 could make. GTA 5 sold 11.21 million copies in the first week of it being out, which is the equivalent to 800 million US dollars. Given the fact that Red Dead Redemption 2 is a smaller game, I'd wager that within the first week Red Dead Redemption 2 is looking at a possible outcome of around 3 to 5 million copies sold in the first week, give or take. Given the fact that the original Red Dead's lifetime sales are upwards of 50 million by 2018, and Rockstar's exponential growth since 2010, more people will be interested in the sequel as it has Rockstar's name on it, which means that Rockstar will make a base profit of around 150 to 250 million US dollars within the first week of the game's shipping, not taking into consideration special editions or collector's editions, which is pretty fucking good if you ask me. And if they're able to support a multiplayer component like GTA Online, then you're looking at even more profit. Red Dead Redemption 2 is without a doubt going to be a financially good game for Rockstar, which will only mean that they can put more time and resources into possible single player DLC for the game, something that GTA 5 lacked, which will make the overall experience that much sweeter. Red Dead Redemption 2 is also a breath of fresh air into the open world genre. With so many open world games copying one another and basically being carbon copies of each other, it's hard to find an open world game that is genuinely good from a story, gameplay and content standpoint. Red Dead 2 has it all. You want customization? There's gun customization, horse customization, clothes customization and probably much more. You want exploration? Red Dead 2's map is absolutely huge and boasts a variety of different terrains and landscapes, so the open world never gets boring. You want unique characters and a great storytelling? Well, it is a Rockstar game. The characters are almost guaranteed to be interesting at the very least, and from what we've seen from the story so far, it looks like it's going to be a good one. My point is that Red Dead 2 is going to have everything that an open world game needs, with the polish of a linear game. It's almost unreal how great this game is shaping up to be. The open world genre is oversaturated. Don't get me wrong, everyone wants a piece of the open world pie, but Rockstar somehow always manages to get the best slice because their open worlds are always great, and it seems like Red Dead is no different. They always innovate and always strive to make their games better than the last, which is why they have such a great reputation. They're not the best company by any means, with shark cards, toxic online communities, and their recent lack of support for single player content, but Rockstar rarely ever falters, and that consistency is what keeps them at the top of their game. It keeps them releasing great game after great game. Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be one of Rockstar's best games to date, if not their best. The original Red Dead was criminally underrated and needs to be experienced by more people. I have no doubt there will be an influx of people purchasing Red Dead Redemption as a result of the hype build up for the sequel, which will only increase the value of Red Dead as a whole, giving it a seat among Rockstar's best games.